What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 25 of the Speak Up Sports Podcast with Cass, Christian Shad. What's going on, fellas?
Yep.
What's up, y'all? Football season over with, man. God
It
damn.
is over with. And it ended in a way that we didn't expect probably on the show, but in a way that we probably should have expected with the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the trophy. So congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs beating the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl this past weekend, man. What did y'all think of the game? Let's get into it.
Well, Chris, you picked the Chiefs, so I'll go first. Initial thoughts. San Francisco definitely should have won that game. Now, you got to, but at the same time, you got to tip your cap to Pat Mahomes. You got to tip your cap to the Kansas City defense. They dominated, especially in the second half. The D-line dominated. Secondary throughout the game were making huge plays. Trent McDuffie, Snead was over there bit lockup. So, I mean, it was, you got to tip your cap to him. Patrick Mahomes is a dog. That's pretty much where everybody's coming out of that game saying you got to give it to him. That's 3 rings and 6 years starting back to back. So, but yeah, San Francisco definitely sold that. You can't be up 10 and sell that away to the same team. Tough look for Kyle Shanahan and them boys, honestly. Real tough look. But that's the main takeaways initially that I have. I mean, we're going to get into the game a little bit, but Chris, it was tough.
Man, I don't know what's going on, man, because it just seemed like every game, for whatever reason, don't nobody want to be great. Each of these last 3 teams against Kansas City Chiefs had a chance to win the game. Had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity.
Yeah.
But when the light shine the brightest, hey, the boy folded. But it was a good game. It was some exciting moments, fumble on the first drive type stuff, another fumble, interception. It was a good game. I was surprised it went into overtime, but I mean, I love football, so I was cool with it. But
almost went to double overtime, technically.
Almost.
But the biggest thing for me is it's tough. I mean, obviously, y'all know how that 2 weeks ago on two episodes ago, I had said that if we pick in the day, I'd probably pick Kansas City, and then last week, obviously, I picked the 49ers. But the reason that I was so hesitant to pick the 49ers is because it just seemed similar to like the Warriors, similar to the Patriots. It just seems like all of a sudden people started doing some dumb shit. Like some happens. I mean, honestly, like it's meant to be. For all the talk to be about Patrick Mahomes, obviously the Kansas City defense and the 49ers defense both played well on both sides. Kansas City fumbled the ball 5 times, and the 49ers only got 1. 49ers fumble twice, and they lose both of them. It's really just, you need a little bit of luck to get to win these games, and between that, Travis Kelce turning back time once again, showing up big time in the second half. I think in the first half, he only had 1 catch from 1 yard in the entire first half. I mean, they got dominated for the first half pretty much.
For majority of the game.
It really came down to, unfortunately, that punt that ended up Richie James ended up not falling on top of it. And that gave Kansas City life. They scored immediately right after, and then from there it was, back and forth. It's tough. It's tough. Kyle Shanahan, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. What do y'all think of the decision for him to take the ball at the beginning of overtime?
Now, if what he said is what he really thought, because apparently, according to the players, none of them knew that the overtime rule changed. I'm be honest. I didn't think it changed like that either. I wasn't paying no attention until they said it, and I was like, okay. But if you going off what he said, it kind of do make sense if you think about it being a nip and tuck game. We scored, they scored, and whoever scores next wins. So that makes sense. But at the same time, and then also another thing. Well, I mean, you say it's cap, but another thing is Mahomes just did what he did. He has the momentum. I don't want him to. If he got that momentum, I don't want him touching the ball first. I want to go set the tone. Because if I score a touchdown, you score a field goal, all I got to do is get a field goal in. But if I score a touchdown after you just had that momentum, you have no choice. You have to go score this touchdown. You can't kick this field goal. You can't. Oh, I'm in field goal range now. We can try whatever we want to try to score a touchdown. You got to score that touchdown. I get it, but I don't think he lied because the players said they didn't know. So I think he lied.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't think. I don't. I disagree with the decision. I think it's a crazy decision up front. I think you definitely give them the ball first. Play defense. Now I get like you're saying. Some people come out and saying like the defense was just on the field for that last drive against Mahomes. I get that, but at the same time, you're in the Super Bowl. like I don't want to hear that shit. Like really, I don't want to hear that. Like get on the field and get some stops. Like you have the tools you have the people to do it. You have Fred, you have Nick, you had Chase. Like you have those people to make significant plays on a drive like that. So I don't necessarily agree with that. The analytics, I get it. You get that third possession, sure. I just think you gotta play football, man. You gotta get out there and really get a stop. Like and you see it turn, it came back to bite them. Because and then Kansas City's players saying that even they would have went for a 2 if they got the ball second. It's like it's too much to play around with, right? In my opinion. So I think it's a dumb decision by him. He tried to cover it up with analytics. You didn't relay this decision or the thought process to your team as the head coach. Which means
he never got the analytics behind it.
Exactly.
No, I said
somebody came up to him after the game and fed him that to say to the media.
And his post game was different than what he said, the second time which is what he said about they wanted the ball the third time. But the thought process behind it, what he said, it makes sense to an extent. But when, in my opinion, once you start to actually talk it out, and which to me screams that they clearly didn't plan this, plan it out at all. Once you started talking it out, it's like, okay, it's a 3. If we give them the ball, first of all, just as simple as we can get, if we give them the ball first, it becomes a 3-down game. If they go 3 and out, they're punting the ball, and now we get a chance to kick a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown. If you were under the belief that you were going to score a touchdown anyway, whether you get the ball first or second, then what is the purpose of getting the ball first? Because if you stop them, now you only need a field goal.
Yeah.
So that's the start. Second off, it's all about being aggressive. Like, it's all about being aggressive. It's all about being aggressive, especially when you're going up against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs who are going for back-to-back, who obviously have the pedigree, obviously have the best player in the game, as well as, Kyle Shanahan's probably not thinking like this, but as well as the best coach as well. So, or a legendary coach just in general, you got to be aggressive at all points. And that's what's haunted him. I mean, that's what's haunted him the past few games. The past few big games that they've had, the Super Bowl, the previous NFC championships, the previous Super Bowl he lost against the New England Patriots as well. He just bad in-game decision making. It's terrible, and it's just poor. It sucks because at the end of the day, that's what the game comes down to. And for not to discredit you, Chris, but people are saying, Kansas or Patrick Mahomes was having all the momentum. They scored 1 touchdown the entire game before.
No, I meant at the end. I meant at the end.
I get that, but even at the end though, they were really still kind of locked up. It was really Pat Mahomes just getting. It was really just exactly. They did only get a field goal in the last possession, but it was really Pat's feet. Like it wasn't really like they were just driving down the field like getting whatever they want.
Guess what? We seen this story every year. So what we saying? This is the same shit we see every.
But they were also converting
the same shit.
3rd and 10, 4th down. Like
they were doing it last year.
But the thing about it is, if you get to 4th down, you're not going for it. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you taking the ball is being aggressive, though. I don't think because if you give them the ball, that's being passive. Because guess what? In your mind, you getting the ball back. That's saying I'm being passive because I'm getting the ball back anyway. Because we all get the ball. I feel like you taking the ball saying I'm about to go score. That is being aggressive in my opinion.
I mean, I guess in a sense it's like in a sense it's being aggressive, but to me it's like we're gonna shut you out and we're gonna go close the game on our terms. Like you have no control of the game after you. Technically, you do, obviously, if you're trying to stop somebody. But, I mean, at the end of the day, defense doesn't know what the offense is going to run. The offense just has to execute at the end of the day. Yeah. So, they immediately, as soon as they said they wanted the ball, I was like, bro, what are you doing? I was like, this is the type of shit this the shit right here that, you know, where we talked about like niggas all of a sudden start shooting threes against the Warriors that ain't never shot a three before. You know, all that shit. This is exactly where it is, and that's what happened. And I mean,
it's a really bad look for your whole team, pretty much. All your star players to come out after the game and say, we didn't know about the rule. We thought we just wanted to go score first. Like, that's a real bad look.
And that brings the argument, like, you know, should he just be an offensive coordinator? Because that happens a lot when coaches, you know, you call in the play, so you're not even thinking about everything on the outside of the game. You probably the whole Super Bowl, you like, man, we gotta get this game plan right. They got a good defense, blah blah blah. What we gonna run? This, that, and the third. You're not thinking like, damn, hold on, y'all. They did change the rule this year, or whenever they changed it. If overtime happens, we want to kick it off or whatever the case may be. But like you said, the fact that every player and the Chiefs player literally said the opposite. Like, we talked about this. This is something we went over.
And I feel like it's damning that every player, like the fact that every player is coming out to say it is all, and then on top of the Brandon Ayuk stuff that's come out, and on top of, I don't know if you saw the offensive lineman kind of going back and forth as well, where one of the offensive linemen was like, nah, he saved one lineman to shit on another, basically missing his block, which led to when
they said that Chris Jones, he said,
exactly.
Yeah. It's
interesting to see because I mean it's a bad look because
it's a bad look.
And it, to me, it kind of screams like the team was probably like, yo, like as soon as they asked for the ball, they're like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like Chris, I don't want to go as far as to say, you know, he should be like, you know, fired or demoted or anything like that. But like realistically, I think he should take a look in the mirror. And they actually have positions on staff just for that like, I don't know the exact name for, y'all know the exact name for what I'm talking about, like the senior, you know, game plan, you know, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm talking about. That helps you form the game plan, know the rules, and all that stuff. Like, they had those positions, and that's probably who you look at more of bringing in or replacing if they have somebody in that role right now to help him, because like you see this coming over and over again. They had an interview today, where of course they were like pushing back on the stigma that they can't win big games, and Kyle said that you win big games to get to the Super Bowl. So that's like, you know, it's just incorrect. It's just actually incorrect to say, which, okay, sure. But we're seeing the same story.
The biggest game
like,
of them
you
all.
Can't, like, you're literally folded. These are mistakes that you are making. Like,
it's 10 in every game.
And I mean, like, the thing is, like you said,
double digits in every game, really.
I'm not even trying to demote him, but you can literally pass your play call and do to somebody else. It's your offense. You can still design it. It's still your plays. You can pass that duty to somebody else and focus more on the team. Like, that's what you can do. Like, everybody knows in the world that knows your offense. The Shanahan tree, everybody know that. You're not losing credit to somebody else calling the plays. Everybody knows your offense. Like, if that's something like we said already, like, for your whole team to not just say, yeah, we wanted, like, they could have easily said, nah, we wanted the ball. We wanted to show them. They said, nah, we just didn't know.
We didn't know the rules.
Like, everybody says that. Like, that's not a good look.
Like, at least come out and lie.
Dejected. They're definitely probably dejected.
Yeah.
So
it's rough.
Moving off of Kyle Shanahan, what do you guys think that the Super Bowl means for Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, we talked about it a lot, you know, these last few weeks about his legacy and him being in a GOAT talk with Tom Brady, and, you know, and we said if he wins this one, that's a dynasty. And he even came out after the game and said they're trying to three-peat, they're trying to go for more. I think the Super Bowl pretty much showed us that you can't really doubt him. You know what I mean? It's reaching that point where we saw Tom Brady like later in his career where it's just like you can't count out Tom Brady. It don't matter what the fuck going on with their team. It don't matter who they got. You just can't count him out. And that's where he is now, because that's what a lot of people did all season. And they're on top. So it's one of those things like going into the next season. I mean, of course, they're not even favored next season for whatever reason. But going into the next season, going into the future, it's like, yeah, I mean, you just got to give Pat Mahomes, if he's playing, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. And that's kind of what he cemented to me with this one. Anything changed for you? Because, I mean, we all were high on Pat Mahomes. We all know that he's the best
it doesn't change.
in the game
that's
now.
That's kind of the reason why I picked them, I don't believe in their team. Their team is not good. I mean, for whatever reason, the second half, 49ers decide not to double Kelsey like they were doing. I was watching. They were jamming him at the line. I'm talking about bracketing this man. And then the final drive
Probably
and all
Dre
that.
Greenlaw going out hurt.
That's another big
That
one.
definitely did hurt.
Yeah.
I do got some questions about Steve Wilks' game plan though. Like,
but up until that point, I thought that they were doing fine. But my thing is, like you said, Patrick Mahomes, man, he is getting to that category. I'm not gonna call him GOAT, obviously, but he's getting to the category where it's like if he's on the field, they got a chance every time. It doesn't even matter who's his weapons. He got a chance. Yeah. He's gonna always try to put them in a position to win.
And it's good to see. Yeah. It's good to witness this because we always talk about like witnessing greatness. We talk about that with LeBron and how, you know, we were after pretty much MJ's time. So we got to see LeBron, we got to see Kobe, we got to see Tom, and now we get to see Pat. And it's just like it's good as just a sports fan in general, as we all are, just general NFL fans on top of our teams. Like we love to see this. Like this shit keeps you invested because it's like how good can he be? And he has a lot more. Like that team can get better. You know what I mean? His pieces around him can get better. So where does it go next? That's what everybody's tuned into, especially like these next few years.
Yeah, and where does it go next is really going to be the key, you know. And it really doesn't change too much for me. You know, I thought he was an all-time great already. I'm really surprised that the I don't want to say everybody, but the amount of people that are really trying to say like GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, especially because we've been through, like I said, you know, last week, we've been through the conversation with like the LeBron and Michael Jordan, and it's been about rings. And then, you know, before with Tom Brady, even with Tom Brady and Peyton, it was about rings in terms of between the two of them. And then when Brady was kind of obviously starting to make his run and he got the 3, it started to be like, oh, it's rings with Joe Montana. Tom Brady has more rings than any NFL franchise. Like, and I hate that I'm even a Tom Brady like apologist right now, but like, I sound like Skip, but damn, like the man just retired last year and we already getting to that point. Like we trying to 7. He's got more than any NFL franchise. Like, period.
Like, I feel like he's one of them prisoners of the moment because, like you said, even when Tom Brady won his 3rd, nobody said he was the GOAT. Nobody even thought to say he was the GOAT. Like you said, I know you're a Colts fan, but I mean it was legitimately true. Peyton Manning was better than him. He just had a better team in general. He got the greatest coach of all time, you want to call it. But nobody considered Tom Brady to go after 3 rings. Like, because I think I posed this question earlier. What if Pat Mahomes start not making the playoffs the next couple of years? Is it going to change? Are y'all going to be like, well, no, he won them 3, so he good?
They are going to change. You know that.
I'm just so why put it in a situation? I think people are misusing the word GOAT as somebody who's the best right now.
Yeah,
because he's the best right now. That is fact. But you can't say of all time. Come on, like you said, Tom Brady got 7.
And that's
crazy.
And that's why I think Pat even felt the need to, because he's been saying it pretty much on every interview he's done since that win, that he's chasing Tom. You know, he's still more to do like that. Like he's still making it known. Like he don't want to put that on him right now, because I mean it's just not it just can't be true right now. Like I get he's on a trajectory that we have not seen a lot or ever in the NFL, like, you know, in your first 6 seasons, but like he's not there yet, and he knows that. It's a lot more to do. So I do respect
definitely
him for
not
that.
more to do, but what a great, I mean, still a great game from him. Ultimately, you know, in the end, obviously they had a rough game. Honestly, they had a rough game for most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But the last drive, obviously in the overtime, was fantastic. The drive to tie it up at the end of the game was clutch as well. I mean, leading the team in rushing, 66 yards to go along with 333 yards. I mean, passing is, I mean, you can't beat that. But, you know, it looked ugly. You know, that opening drive in the second half, throwing that ugly pick. It really should have been another pick on a huge deep route to Mecole Hardman. Have no idea what that safety was doing. On the other side, Brock Purdy, no turnovers, played a pretty clean game. You know, what was your takeaway from Purdy? Did you guys does it change? You know, obviously he didn't come out with the dub, but did his play change your perception on him either in the positive or the negative?
If I had to say, I would say positive because that just showed. I mean, it showed me that the moment's not too big for him. Like you said, he didn't turn the ball over. He was able to, put them in good position at times. I mean, he even went down to score in overtime. That's not something simple, because one mess up, a turnover, that's game. So that ain't nothing easy. And they almost had a chance to score a touchdown. So I mean, unfortunately, I do have in the back of my mind if any opportunity come about, they're gonna take another quarterback. But unfortunately, I think that's what they would do. But I think he's a good quarterback for them. I think there's no reason to. I feel like you can at this point you can dedicate whatever to other assets.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to do while they're still paying him less than $1 million, on his salary going into next season. I think he definitely cemented, another year, and obviously they can't even he has to wait anyway, because of the contract and the length of it. So he played well. He played well. Of course, there's a lot of things that he could get better at, as far as feel of the game, diagnosing the defense a little bit better pre-snap. Of course, we saw that a couple times on huge third downs. Of course, not all his fault, but you knew they were blitzing. That's your game plan. You know they're going to blitz. Like it's Spags. So you know they're going to blitz. And you didn't really do a good, Kyle, whoever, did not do a good job diagnosing where that could come from. He did do a good job by throwing the ball in the dirt on the first one, throwing it out of bounds, so not putting it in harm's way on those blitzes, so you can still get, at least on the second, you still got a field goal out of it. So, I mean, he knows how to play the game. But yeah, I'm with you, Chris. I think you can still upgrade this position. Like going forward, I wouldn't tie everything to him. Like I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, he's our quarterback of the future. I wouldn't say that yet. There's still more that he can do and get better at. I mean, but it's hard to knock him. He had a good game, solid game. He wasn't great, but not a lot of people were in this game. That defense was playing great on Kansas City.
I think he was really good, honestly, and he made plays with both his legs and his arm, not only in just pure rushes, but like extending plays, making plays out of the backfield and stuff like that. But to be quite honest, I don't think that there's really a path to upgrading the position because I'm not so sure that. I mean, Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback. I'm not so sure he's an upgrade over Brock Purdy, especially at this point in his career. Aside from that, you're looking at a Justin Herbert. I'm not saying. I don't know if Dak's an upgrade. I don't know if Jordan Love. He's not going. Obviously, not going anywhere. CJ Stroud's not going anywhere. So it's like I think he kind of cemented his place as the franchise for the 49ers, and now it's about unlocking his game more. It's putting more on his plate. We saw that it wasn't too big for him. We saw him, stare Patrick Mahomes in the eyes, and I mean, it wasn't for, we can say, not for certainty, but if it wasn't for a muff punt, you're probably looking at a Super Bowl trophy in his second year as well. And who's to say that it won't be back next year as well? I mean, they're going to be in contention, so we think, and they're obviously the Vegas favorite right now for next year. But, I think Brock Purdy played well, and everybody thought it was going to be the Christian McCaffrey game. It was going to be the Christian McCaffrey game. But, I truly felt like they were in that game because of Brock Purdy. Like Christian McCaffrey had his drive at the beginning. He obviously made plays. He had, 80 yards rushing, 80 yards receiving. And then Jawan Jennings, he made some plays as well. But like Brock Purdy was putting the throws there, like I said, making plays with his legs as well. So I'm excited to see what his future looks like. I don't know if he's gonna ever be he should be the highest paid, but like to a type contract, depending on what it looks like this offseason, I could definitely see Brock Purdy's future. But going back to something that I mentioned about being the Vegas favorite, who do you guys think should be the favorite for the championship next year?
I gotta go Chiefs. I mean, it's just like they have a lot of question marks coming up too. Of course, they got to upgrade their roster. The defense is going to keep getting better, but they got to figure out what to do with Chris Jones. Chris Jones just got his third ring. Is he looking for a huge payday? Probably. Are they going to give that to him? I don't know. It's a possibility that they don't. It's a possibility that somebody else throws him, whatever he wants. That's a possibility too, and that's going to be a huge hole for them to fill if that does happen next month. They got to figure out what to do with Snead. You know, it's a lot of questions that they still have to figure out. And then upgrading the offense, receivers. Is Travis Kelce? Is he done playing? Is he coming back? But even throughout all that, this game showed you if as long as Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid are there, it's tough to not pick them as a favorite. So I got to go Chiefs.
What say you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer of if you want a championship, you're gonna put out something that says who's a favorite immediately after. It has to be the champion. Like we could talk about, you know, at the offseason acquisition, you might want to update whatever the case may be. That's cool, but right at the championship, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't have them as the favorite. They just
honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I would have them as the favorite. Because like you said, they do have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And it is still Patrick Mahomes. It is still Andy Reid. We think it is still Travis Kelce. We think. Hey, we don't know yet, so we'll come on here once he confirms. But I just think that the 49ers, number one, you know, they could always come back, and depending on how they retool, they've got their guys locked in for some time. I don't agree that the defense will get better because, like you said, Chris Jones, Snead as well as a free agent. And you can't get better than what they were this year. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. There's gonna be some positive variance that, you know, happens there. You know, picking up on some things, but it's if they don't sign Chris Jones, it's gonna be interesting to see because it's not like they just have a dominant. You know, we know that they blitz a lot, but it's not like Chris Jones has really been. A lot more so than the blitzes. Chris Jones has really been the guy that's made some of those big plays defensively as opposed, you know, we've seen obviously the blitz, you know, create some disruptions, but the biggest plays this season, this postseason on defense have been made by Chris Jones. So that would be a huge loss. But I have to go with the Ravens again, honestly. I think that their progression, I think they can retool as well. We'll see what happens with Zay Flowers in his situations. But they've got a lot of the same guys locked in. They get older as a team as well. A little bit more veteran, a little bit more seasoned. And we saw how dominant they were this year, even though they lost some of their defensive staff. It's something that has been what they've been doing throughout the entirety of Lamar's career. Aside from him being hurt. So I really have to go, and we don't know what the Bengals are going to be looking like, especially with T. Higgins' situation. The Steelers, the Browns, we have no clue what Deshaun Watson's going to look like next year. So I have to rock with the Ravens. Yeah, nigga.
That's tough. No, I can't really. I don't know. Man. I can't really rock with that, man. The Ravens.
And Chris Jones also came out and said that the Ravens were the toughest team that they played.
Which makes it even worse. That they lost to him. But like
I said, I mean, you gotta like I said earlier, there needs to be some luck that goes into it, and the Ravens were, you know, the fumble was their unluckiness, and at the end of the day, they come back. Like I said, we'll see how it looks. They've got to obviously stay healthy. You know. We'll see how their draft goes. And this is very, very early. We don't know who's surprisingly going to get cut, who's going to get signed, who's going to get traded, nothing like that. But
yeah,
I'm riding with the Ravens. I would put my money on the Ravens again this time, but nervously.
I mean, that's fair. But yeah, I still got to go Chiefs. I mean, we'll see.
We will see. And, you know, that kind of puts a wrap on the 2023-2024 season for us at the NFL, man. Great season. Like I said at the top, probably should have been a season that we really could have predicted from the jump, like some other people that have predicted it and are probably doing some victory laps this week. Yeah. But looking forward to the offseason. We've got about a month before, we got a couple weeks here before the combine, about a month before free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the surprise person that you think is going to get moved this offseason? We all know about the possibility of the T. Higgins There's been mention of the Brandon Ayuk's, maybe even a Jair Alexander. But last year we saw like Jalen Ramsey wasn't somebody that we expected to get moved. The year past, we did not expect Tyreek Hill to get moved. Obviously in the past we knew about the Aaron Rodgers situation and stuff like that. So who do you guys think is the surprise that might use a change of scenery?
It's tough. Because if you really look at the free agency like slate, as of right now, it's pretty clear who should get franchise tagged. For most of these guys, most of these top guys that are hitting the market or slated to hit the market. Honestly, I can probably see. I'm not gonna lie, I can see Jalen Ramsey getting moved again. Miami has to make some decisions this offseason with their I think they're like negative 50 something in cap. Like they got to make some tough moves this offseason. And I would not be surprised if Jalen Ramsey is that move for them. I know it's kind of like recycling the well there, but you got to make some tough decisions at the top of your who's making it. I think his base is 15, but he got like a cap hit of like 20 something or 30 something million. Like it's a lot, and I could see him kind of wanting to get out of there. I don't know where, but I feel like I would not be surprised if we hear some rumblings out of Miami to make some changes on that defense, especially with a new defensive staff.
What say you, Chris? We heard about your boy Hassan already.
Oh, you see, he's staying, bro. Fuck y'all talking about. See, that why I don't even comment what y'all be talking about.
I don't think he said that.
Falcons, he ain't going nowhere.
He said business is business.
He ain't going nowhere. This is interesting, but I think it's a team out there that gonna try to push to get Devontae Adams. I don't think he wants to be there no more, to be honest with you. I mean, that's an interesting situation because he might like the coach, but I mean, what direction are they really going? Like, I don't know what direction they're going in, and I think he'll be okay with moving on and going somewhere else. But as a what team would get him, I don't know. But I think that's an interesting situation.
So I'm also gonna go with a receiver. I'm gonna go with two receivers, Terry McLaurin and Cooper Kupp. I think Terry McLaurin, obviously, he's been with Washington for a few years now. They could be looking at another rebuild, and he's almost 30 years old, and this could be a situation where he's
almost 30 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was an older rookie. Yeah, so he's like 28, 29. So, so definitely him, and then Cooper Kupp in the same light. I mean, obviously, we all know that they got Puka, getting an opportunity to retool that defense even more, as well as pick up some extra picks while he still got it, in him, sending him to maybe like I don't know specifically what his cap situation is, but maybe sending him to a team like the Bengals who might need a replacement for T. Higgins, or maybe another contender like the Ravens. Or depending on his price, maybe the Falcons. Depending on his price, maybe, but going to a team where he's familiar with. So those are two guys that I could see. Terry McLaurin for sure. I would like to see Terry McLaurin get moved to a team where, shoot, the Bills. If I was the Bills, send Stephon to Washington. Let that man. He went to Maryland. He might like it out there. Send that man back over there to a rebuilding team. Get Terry McLaurin. I think him and Josh Allen would go nuts. Or the Ravens, same thing. I think they could use another big time receiver. Obviously, I don't know what they're gonna do with Odell, and I don't know if Odell is.
I don't think he's going bad there.
He's supposed to be a top. I don't know if he's gonna be a number 3 or number 2 or definitely not a number 1. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the offseason though. It's gonna be a good one. Obviously, we've got they just released the combine invites earlier today, and it looks like thus far we typically would probably hear about people not participating in the combine, but thus far we haven't heard anything. It looks like everybody's going. Drake May, Caleb, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers. Who's the guy that you guys are most excited about seeing at the combine?
Ooh, good question. For me, it would probably be between I want to see those LSU boys. I want to see both of them, Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. See what they test out on, especially Neighbors, as far as like what he runs. I think they have a great chance to. I mean, people are high on him now, and they're already pushing, especially Neighbors. They're already pushing him up to the Marvin Harrison Jr. levels, saying that if he wasn't there, he'd definitely be a number one receiver in the draft. So, I mean, I'm just interested to see how they test out, compared to everybody else. But those are the two I would say. And then Jaden Daniels, I think he's going to be pretty good. But, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Chris, you got anybody that you're looking forward to?
Hell no. Fuck all I'm looking forward to seeing, I'm looking forward to seeing these quarterbacks that are on the fringe, your boy that you want so bad. I'm looking forward to.
I don't want to say so bad. I just respect his skill. No, yeah, Michael Penix Jr. That whole little crop, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy.
Not the top. I just want to see, how they look out there. I don't want to see none of these pro days though, because they're junk.
See, the thing about this shit is like, it's only gonna be nothing but hype from here on out with them. That's the tough part about it, because it's like I don't see what they could do to make their stock really go down. Like, it's hard to make it, like, in my opinion, it's hard for quarterbacks
definitely
to go down.
Combine.
It's like, yeah, especially at the combine. So it's like, I mean, good for all of them. Like, they have a chance to increase their stock, but like, it's expected. It's kind of what happens. Is what
It's also
with
like
teams.
It's also just the appearance, like how they look. Just definitely how they look, just all being together. Because when you, first of all, we all know when it comes to quarterbacks, part of it is size. So when you're seeing a Josh Allen out there with his peers and he's sticking out, you're seeing Anthony Richardson, he's sticking out, or you're seeing a Bryce Young and he's like, he's looking a little frail. You're gonna be, that's a part of it. And then even last year, like, CJ probably, even though he ended up going second, he probably is like almost a poster boy of how you have like a perfect offseason. He leads his team to the playoffs, has a great game against an NFL type defense, a defense littered with NFL, NFL type defensive players, first round talents. Answers basically all the questions people have about can he play off script? Can he play with pressure? Can he play against top NFL defenses? Can he read defenses? Blase. Mm-hmm. Then when he goes into the offseason, he has the combine. He's looking smooth as a thrower. Pro day, looking smooth as a thrower. That's the same thing. Like, people, same thing with like both Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson. They all looked good. Even Will Levis to an extent. Like he probably didn't do well in terms of showing his accuracy and answering those questions, but first thing he tries to go out there and do is like, yo, I'm going to try to throw this bitch 70 yards. Yeah. I'm going to show y'all something. So, I mean, it's just for the quarterbacks, it's definitely showing like that talent that they have that people kind of quote unquote drool over. Yeah. But I'm actually looking forward to the other LSU guy. I'm looking forward to Brian Thomas Jr. Okay. 6'4", 6'5", 200 plus pounds. Is they're saying he might go out there and run a 4.3, 4.2.
Yeah, he might be sub 4.4. Which is crazy.
I'm excited to see him. I'm also excited to see the white cornerback from Iowa, Cooper DeJean, if I'm saying his last name right. Same thing, 6'3", big corner. Supposed to go out there and run. They say that he could play safety and corner, so I'm excited to see him and kind of what the workout warriors look like. We always got somebody that jumps up the board. Some people that make those.
For instance, he's one of those workout warriors, big dudes that like they will drool up. I already know I'm pretty sure he's going to the combine.
I'm excited to see my boy Ladd. I think Ladd might go out there and run a 4.4, 4.3 and turn some heads.
That'd be huge. That'd be huge. Do that.
It's a lot of receivers. Roman Wilson, I'm excited to kind of see what he runs. On the cornerback side, I'm excited to see what Cameron Kitchens runs as a safety. I'm excited to see what Terrion Arnold runs at corner. So it's even though the NFL season itself and the hitting is over, the offseason gets just as exciting. They're trying to keep up with the NBA, with all the player movement and stuff like that. But with that being said, with the NBA, we do got All-Star Weekend coming up. not too much to talk about because obviously we talked about it a little bit last week how it's lost its luster. But before we get out of here, I want to see what y'all's predictions are on a short episode. Who you guys got in the slam dunk contest and the 3-point contest. So for the slam dunk contest, we obviously got Chris's boy, Jaylen Brown. We got Jaime Jaquez Jr., Mac McClung. Obviously, he's coming back to defend his title. And Jacob Toppin, as we spoke about last year, not even getting Obi. But who you guys got?
Dunk contest. I'm probably gonna go with. I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna go with Jaime. I was gonna go with Mac to kind of defend his title or that, but I think Jaime Jaquez got something cooking. And he's had some evidence of his burst throughout the season so far. So I'm interested to see what he does. I mean, it's so tough to judge. And we talked about it on our last episode. It's so tough to judge dunk contests nowadays. Like it's really hard to be that creative. But maybe that's why they're choosing these young guys. Maybe they got something cooking. So I'm going Jaime. Yeah, Chris.
Is that a question?
You don't think Jaylen Brown's about to win this seriously, do you?
Oh no, yeah, I'm picking JB home team. He probably gonna miss his first dunk on God, but I'm still gonna pick him.
Ain't no way you can sit here and seriously think he's about to win this. No,
why not, bro? He more poster than anything, but still, he got way more poster than any one of those niggas combined on that damn thing. You can go check that out.
I mean, he
has a whole
longer.
So it don't matter. It don't matter. Y'all talking like he just trash. Like he don't be dunking on folk. He don't on Goat James. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. He did dunk on Goat James. Go look it up. He dunked all on that man's head. I'm gonna go JB, and then when he win, y'all gonna be like, damn,
he's not
bad.
He's not.
My bad, bro.
All right, next.
Anyway. Who you got, Sean?
I'm rocking with Mac. I think Mac, Mac showed out last year. He put on a show in itself. He really turned out just for him, not really anybody else, not what everybody else was doing. So I think that he's probably been cooking up again. It got him an opportunity to get back with an NBA team last year. Obviously, he's with the G League this year. So same thing, he's gonna keep trying to parlay his way back into the league. So I'm rocking with Mac, and I think he gets the back to back, and then honestly leads to more questions about the dunk contest. We got a guy coming from the G League that's winning the dunk contest back to back years. What's happening to our stars? And I mean, I do think that's a conversation that needs to be had. So. That I'm right with Matt, and Jaylen Brown is definitely not the answer, even though he continues to try to be.
I don't know why y'all be hating on that man, bro.
It ain't hate. Let's be real though. It's like,
be real about what? Especially, I mean, okay. What is your reasoning? Let me ask you that. What is your reasoning?
My reasoning for what? Not thinking he's going to win?
That he can't win a dunk contest
because he's butt.
I just don't think he's that creative. I don't think he'll be that creative. Honestly, I really don't.
He's butt. At what, dunking?
Basketball.
Okay, good. You good. You take Austin Reeves over him? Shut that shit up.
Might.
Next question. Like, stop lying, bro. No, you not taking Austin Reeves over him. I don't want to hear it. So if he butt Austin Reeves' ass. Thank
this
you.
Nigga hot to Austin Reeves. Anyway.
Because you say he butt, and I'm like, so you take him over him? You said you ain't gonna answer. He's ass.
I said I might. I had to think about how my team is constructed.
Okay, here we go.
Anyway, Jaylen Brown. Nah, in all seriousness, he's butt and he's stiff.
He's not butt. Like, what are we talking about?
Stiff, though. He is a little stiff.
That's fine, but we talking about this man that did 360 and windmills in the game. Easy work. So what are we talking about?
Ain't nobody trying to see that though.
That's fine, but to say he's butt based on what? Because nobody, all these other tricks you're talking about, you've not seen that in the game. I'll bet you a bottle of that Crown that he gets the lowest score out of everybody.
Let's bet it.
That's fine.
Mark it.
Let's do it. When he back out of first round, I'll be like, damn.
Wheatley.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
We're gonna see. Okay, moving along to the 3-point contest, which, like we talked about, has kind of been the marquee event per se over the past few years at the All-Star weekend. We got a pretty good crowd. It seems like the stars actually come out for this because they don't really have to do much but shoot. But Malik Beasley, we got Jalen Brunson from the Knicks, obviously. Therese Halliburton. I saw today somebody said Therese Halliburton's Linsanity run has ended, which, a lot of people would talk about top 10 player in the league. And yeah. Anyway, Dame time. We got Laurie Markkinen. We got Spider Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, who changed the game, and Trae Young. Who you guys got?
It's a tough pool to pick from. Who you got, Chris? I'll let you go first.
I got somebody random. I'm gonna take Laurie Markkinen.
I was gonna take.
I think he gonna come out there shooting that motherfucker.
Laurie can shoot that thing.
I mean, it is an interesting group. Like Trae Young, he can shoot, but I just don't think he's a tough shot maker. But I don't think he's just gonna hit these threes back to back. I just don't think that. So
I think him and Dame will kill that 4-pointer, the two little 4-point balls they have or whatever. I think they drain those. But yeah, I'm gonna go Laurie. I'm gonna go Laurie as well. I think if I recall, like he was in it before and did fairly well. I don't know if that was last year or year before. But nah, man, he's a sniper. He's a sniper. I got Laurie.
So this, like I said, it is tough. It is tough, especially because it is in Indiana. So you would think that Therese Halliburton is going to show out. But I think an underrated story, and probably because the All-Star weekend hasn't been talked about too much over the past few weeks and just really promoted at all by the NBA this year, it feels like the prevailing story I feel like that's been about the All-Star has been about snubs. And one of the biggest snubs we know consistently has been Trae Young. So I think this gives Trae Young an opportunity to come there with a little chip on his shoulder. It's seeming like it's going to be a big offseason for him with a lot of questions about will he be traded? What will the Hawks do with him? What will if the Hawks are going to continue on the Trae Young path? How are they going to get another star there? Blah, blah, blah. So I think this is a possibly like last kind of hoorah for Trae Young and the Hawks. So I think Trae Young gets it.
That's fair. Why do you think that is though? With like you think it's because of the Super Bowl? Like it was just no point of promoting this like up to now. Because you're right. Know. It really has like. Of course, we saw some promotion by ESPN about the celebrity game and shit like that. Because Shannon and Stephen A are the coaches or whatever. But like. It really hasn't, like, this All-Star has been, like, I don't know if there's a timing thing. I don't know if it's because, like, you got the Super Bowl, like, all this shit was leading up to the Super Bowl.
Because like, what are you going to market at this point? Like I said, everything, the marquee event used to be the dunk contest. You're not no disrespect to Jaylen Brown, but you're not marketing Jaylen Brown.
It's ass.
You're not marketing Jacob Toppin, who definitely people aren't going to know. People aren't going to really.
You only know Jacob Toppin because of his brother.
Mac McClung. People are probably not even going to go put 2 and 2 together because they don't even know his brother like that.
That's true too.
So at the end of the day, who are you going to market there? Then even in the 3-point contest, like the
biggest thing marketing star is Steph versus Sabrina. That's the biggest
exactly. That's the biggest marketing thing, and that's really been the only thing talked about. But I mean, in the 3-point contest, your biggest star is Dame, maybe, or Trae Young, maybe.
No,
I wouldn't. It's definitely not Cat. I wouldn't say it's Donovan. It's definitely not Laurie. And Therese Halliburton is up and coming. I mean, Jalen Brunson kind of up and coming, but even then, like who are you really marketing? So now it comes down to marketing the All-Star game, and then they already know how the All-Star game is gonna go. So like it just comes tough. And then like you said, it's the weekend following the Super Bowl. Some people might be burnt out on the sports. Women are probably like, I finally got my husband back and this, that, and third, or the cliche joke that everybody
I got my
makes.
Sundays back, and then boom, we got a All-Star game next Sunday.
They got to find a way to fix it. I mean, like we said, we talked about it enough, so we don't have to, get into it deeply. But I mean, both NFL, NBA, they've got to find a way to fix it. Got to find a way to put some luster back into the All-Star game.
Which is easier said than done.
Is it? Because I mean,
I think so.
For football especially, like the boys used to be out there playing. Like, just was watching a video earlier of Randy Moss having a breaking the Pro Bowl record of 200 plus yardage as well as 10 receptions, just going up and mossing all pro corners. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all got to go out there and play, man.
It's
you got to
tough.
go out there and play.
Tough, real tough.
But, this gives us a sign off for episode of 25, man. We'll start to get in more into the NBA season as obviously All-Star breaks coming. The real season's about to start as we start looking towards playoff seeding. As we mentioned, NFL offseason coming up as well. So we'll probably start doing some NFL previews for offseason and what that looks like, free agency destinations, wish lists, and stuff like that. So
Yes,
y'all
sir.
stay tuned in, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Peace.